Hello, water signs. Um, so this reading is mainly a love reading, but it's not just one relationship, I think. What is highlighted in this reading is more of a pattern of um, creating and maintaining healthy relationships. Um, I get very strongly um, the concept of family conflict, drama. Um, you're in the middle of it. It's like you're sucked into it. Maybe you grew up in it, um, and you've acquired similar patterns. You've learned from them. You've seen some differences in between what you're actually living, where you grew up, for example, and what you want to achieve. You've learned some lessons, and you want to do better. But obviously, these situations had a toll on you and have created some fears within you, and you probably aren't as motivated in you're disappointed basically. So when one is disappointed, wants to change, but he doesn't have that type of excitement, and good faith comes to mind. Good faith in general, I think. You might be dealing also, if you suffered enough, a lot, you might be dealing with depression or some sort of mood destabilizing situations. um, you've been hurt, disappointed again. There is an acceptance that needs to happen here, from your side. It's like a choice. I think it's an active choice of moving along past from past ideas of lack of reciprocity, and I got flimsy connections because of lack of emotional depth in your relationships. Another thing, I got cheetah. So maybe you had um, an environment where there was betrayal going on. However, that manifested betrayal maybe with other people, or when people are putting other things and situations above certain values, and um, maybe over their families or their connection, their romantic connections, things like that. Um, Lack of stable offering comes to mind, which was tied. I've written this because it was tied to the crowning part of the reading, so on your mind. So you see this lack of stable offering, um, or you've experienced that so far. Um, and when I was laying the reading, I got really at first confused with, it came air signs, but specifically Libra for some reason. And I was like, Libra, no, this is water signs. In the cards, I don't see any like air people, but I do see, apart from the Prince of Swords here, which is in the position of how you see yourself. So you might have Libra, a strong Libra energy in your chart, or an air sign in your chart, but Libra came to mind, which is how you see yourself. And we'll get to that, because here obviously you're a water sign, but there you're a mental, you're shifting from a King of Cups towards a Prince of Swords energy. And this is probably due to the Two of Swords um, card, which is a choice, is aligning mind and heart. So sort of these two, mind and heart, and deciding on how to proceed, basically. Um, there's a lot going on here, but mainly the idea is there needs to be some sort of acceptance of a situation that cannot be fixed, or you cannot fix it, or just seeing it for what it is, instead of holding on to emotional deficiencies, let's say, which can be, I'm not saying these deficiencies, these lacks aren't motivated, are unreasonable. They might be, but they are becoming an obstacle for you in changing your situation. You're holding on to them instead of just acknowledging and processing them. So the fact that you're doing that, it might propagate the same disconnections and lack of emotional depth in your connections with other people. Being defensive, for example. It's a dog biting his own tail. It's as if staying in a, not accepting the situation as it is. There is a need for you to protect yourself because you're seeing your environment for ironically for what it is or how it can affect you. So you're protecting yourself, and the more you do that, the more you, by not accepting it and letting go, it doesn't allow you to connect with other people, to see new opportunities. It will keep you stuck in the same patterns, let's say. So removing yourself, not, when I say removing, it's like not doing the same things, not propagating the same behavior, and slowly facing your fears and processing your emotions, basically, as to allow yourself to drift, not get sucked into this conflictual environment, and to be more accepting of the people around you and yourself, learning a new way to protect yourself by not engaging in certain behaviors, thus not playing into them, and giving yourself the chance to see other options and connect differently, basically. I think that's the main message here, somehow. So going into it, in the present, we have the King of Wands reversed, crossed by the Seven of Swords upright. So you might be dealing with a fire sign. Now, there are different scenarios here because there are like a few family cards. So it's very, very relationship, romantic, family based reading because we have 10 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles twice, 3 of Cups. We have two pairs. We have King of Wands and Queen of Wands, both reversed. Then we have King of Cups reversed, and we have Queen of Cups reversed. Then we have 4 of Wands reversed. We have the Lovers as well. We have twice the High Priest, which is marriage, connection, unity, faith, church, that kind of element. And so it's very strong family. So for some of you, this King of Wands and the Queen of Wands in your environment could be your parents, for example. Maybe your parents split, got a divorce, separated, and you're going through this process. Or they haven't done that and they're just keeping this situation in a loop, which isn't like it doesn't seem to be like a healthy relationship. It might work for them, as in they can complement, because they're both reversed, they can complement each other's triggers, let's say. So it's like, it might be the type of codependent relationship or something like that, and you're in this environment as well, especially with the 3 of Cups. So this might be like you living a certain family situation where there are several disputes and arguments comes, and what is it, family drama. There's a lot of family drama that's affecting your idea of what relationships should look like, okay, and how you interact with yourself, first of all, with your masculine and feminine energy, but also with other people as well, external to your environment. So that's for some of you. For others, you might be in a third party relationship here, if you can call it a relationship, a situationship, whatever, not a particular situation. So it might be you're involved, like with this King of Wands reversed, which again returning to flimsy connection, his like a playboy type energy, that kind of thing. And I think he might be married. He might be connected to another woman, another fire sign, his match, let's say, in the situation, and you might be involved in this because because of past family issues that again affected you and your way of interacting and having emotional depth with others, emotional depth and your connection with others. So you might have been brought up in a family environment that was very conflictual. It lacked the strength and the unity. Maybe there was like money issues and lack of structure and discipline and communication, proper communication. Maybe there was like passive aggressiveness in situations like that, and that led you to pursue, to gain some values that may have helped you to a certain degree in some areas, but led you to neglect other areas such as social and romantical. So basically, the ones that are based more on emotional connections with other people. Um, so that's basically the main patterns here. So it all starts with family drama in the past, and it leads to um, emotional disconnection, and you learning how to restore faith within yourself and to sort of like fill your cup, leave these environments, accept them for what they are, learn how to communicate and to persevere and to move on. Maybe there's travel involved. You think of travel, actually moving, physically travel from these people, or you traveled, you moved on from these people. Um, you're still having this environment. There's still like somehow you're still affected by these types of presences and energies. You have still fears of not getting the commitment, lack of commitment, and not getting um, the other side of the coin. I hear it's like not getting whatever you strive for. But this is probably also your outcome is affected by that, because you might have potential of getting, I hear love life, getting your love life on track, but it's like you need to drop hope in broken marriages. You need to drop hope in broken unities, failed partnerships. You need to let go of that. You need to stop asking for love from people who do not have love for themselves, that kind of situation. So I see a fountain, it's like a dry fountain. And because in those situations, if you're putting yourself in those situations, then you're propagating the same behavior, because you need to protect at one point. You see, especially if you've seen differently, you'll see where you are and say, okay, this person is not being able to give me that. I need to protect myself because I'm constantly giving, but not receiving. And your behavior will drive the same cycle basically, because closeness, not closeness, close as in closed. And it's avoiding closeness because you cannot be intimate, with somebody. So that may affect still your view of potential partners, for example, or offerings or behaviors that allow you to connect with people who can actually reciprocate uh, differently. That's it. We're done. So, well, again,